Is your marriage feeling disconnected? In our upcoming free online class, we'll reveal the 7 connection killers sabotaging marriages today and the proven framework that's transformed thousands of relationships. Reignite the connection in your marriage and build the extraordinary marriage you desire. Register now at oneextraordinarymarriage.com/free class.
From Naples, Florida, this is the One Extraordinary Marriage Show, where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex has taken the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call or text us on the Hug Hotline at 858-876-5663, or send us an email to hugs@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. In today's episode, we're talking about the health benefits of an orgasm.
And Dr. Jolene Brighten had this to say about orgasms. She said, every orgasm helps increase anti-aging hormones and reduce your mortality. I just want to say, like, you start hearing that kind of thing, it sort of, perks your ears up about talking about this topic of orgasms. And that's what we're going to be doing today in this episode. But first, we start every episode with a hug. And a hug is really an opportunity for us to celebrate you, to celebrate the transformation that you're experiencing in your marriage. And this hug comes from an email that we received that said, my husband and I are in our young 20s and have been married just a few years. We started the 6 pillars with another couple leading us back in January. It was then that we were introduced to one and who you guys are. You and God have helped us start young with prioritizing our marriage. Our marriage has transformed in these last months, and we are so thankful. We are now daily listeners of the podcast and have hundreds of episodes to catch up on. We're so thankful for you guys. Thanks for speaking about the hard things of marriage that most won't talk about. I love my husband now more than I ever have, and I'm more attracted to him than ever, and our sex life is the best it has ever been. Love you guys, and thanks again.
Wow, that's awesome. It's something to just be for us and for many of you, this next generation, the younger generation, something we didn't have, right? Like when we were coming up and we were first married in the 90s, or some of you in the 80s, 70s, we didn't have what we have today. And so what a blessing it is that we can pour into that next generation. And at the same time, we're still learning, we're still growing, we're still pressing forward and making our own marriages extraordinary. So just thank you so much to this amazing couple and what they're doing at the beginning of their marriage. I mean, it's just so beautiful, and I'm excited for all that God has for you guys.
Well, it totally makes me think of that one couple that we bumped into on the 6 Pillars at Sea Marriage Getaway. We were in the cafe, and all of a sudden we're getting up to go leave, and we'd finished the conversation with our friends, and all of a sudden we hear this, Tony and Elisa. And it was a couple that had they've got this beautiful love story about meeting on a cruise a number of years ago, but they are listeners
of the One Extraordinary Marriage
Show. They heard our voices on the cruise ship. They totally introduced themselves. And it was just this beautiful moment, again, of another couple that's just been married a couple of years.
Yeah.
Getting plugged into resources to create their extraordinary marriage. And they shared how they listen to the podcast as they drive to visit family and things like that. So we love our newer married couples getting plugged in, no matter what your age is. And we're just grateful also for those of you that share the One Extraordinary Marriage Show with your friends. So as Tony said at the top of this episode, we are talking about, the fact that there are health benefits of an orgasm. And a lot of times there are not just physical release. Yes, there are. And, a lot of times people ask us, hey, where do you guys get your ideas for shows? And, they come from different places. But this episode specifically came a few weeks back. One of Tony's friends forwarded him an email that outlined the health benefits of having an orgasm. And that was the subject line, health benefits of orgasm. So Tony forwards the email to me, and I'm intrigued by the subject line. I'm like, okay, you got me, right? That's a great subject line.
Absolutely.
I'm going to open it up. I will read your article. I will do all the things. But I was actually surprised that there were only 3 things that were mentioned in the article. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure, like we've talked about this. I think there should be more. Right. And I will definitely tell you which ones were mentioned. So don't worry. We'll get to it. But I want to first just give you the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of what an orgasm is. And that is the rapid, pleasurable release of neuromuscular tensions at the height of sexual arousal that is usually accompanied by the ejaculation of semen in the male and vaginal contractions in the female. And I don't know if I haven't looked at the Merriam-Webster definition before, but like I was really intrigued as we're talking about the health benefits by the phrase neuromuscular tensions. And so if we just pull that word out, neuro, brain, muscular, muscles, right? So it's like your head and your body all being in this place of responding to sexual arousal, right? And so I got to thinking, I'm like, well, if it's this, these tensions and this release, like there's got to be both brain and body benefits to that. And we're going to be talking about that in depth in today's episode. But, a little bit about our own orgasm journey. Tony and I have been married for 28 years. I will tell you at the beginning of our marriage, orgasm specifically for me, few and far between. Wouldn't you say?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I don't truly remember you having consistent orgasms, and if I can remember at even one point in time, we were talking, and this is many, many years later, but you're like, oh, I used to fake them.
All the time.
Like in the beginning, in the earlier years. And so
it was like the whole when Harry met Sally.
I had no idea, FYI, none whatsoever, that this was happening. And so when you had told me that, I was a bit shocked. And it was just an interesting early in our marriage. I think it was we didn't have an ability to converse. The emotional intimacy around our sex life was nil. And so I thought, as a man, having been exposed to pornography, obviously at that point in time in my life, and what it looked like, and nobody ever told me it, was that it just happens. And so for us not having that ability to have the conversations around it openly, honestly, and transparently, it was just easier for you to just fake it, move on. So it wasn't just sort of like, let me give Tony a little let me give Tony a little medal here, make him feel good, and we can get over
Gold
with
star
it.
For the day.
Get over with this,
And, it's interesting as we have developed our ability to talk about sexual intimacy, to talk about orgasms, to even just learn about them. Right? Like I totally bought in the early years of our marriage. And remember, we got married in 96. So we've been married a few years. People weren't talking about sexual intimacy. When Harry met Sally, the orgasm scene, where she's having, the tuna melt or whatever she's eating there. Like that was the kind of the gist of it. That was like sex ed right there. And not really understanding that there are benefits to both spouses at climax. That this isn't like orgasm isn't just something for the husband in that moment, but it's also learning. And I think you hit on this a little bit is like, we weren't having sex regularly enough to get consistent about what worked. Right. When you're hit or miss, you don't have enough like, hey, what's going on? Like, where are you in your cycle this month? What's going on with you? Hey, what is working right now? What has changed? All of these different kinds. We weren't doing that. Like sex was so infrequent in our marriage that it's like, well, hit or miss. And so I would fake it because I was just like, all right, well, we're probably not going to have sex for a while. So if I just, like go along with it.
And I would say for us, it wasn't even the first 60-day sex challenge where even orgasms were brought up a lot. I think it was, and I'm just trying to remember in that time frame, because it wasn't before that.
It was definitely not.
And I feel like it wasn't even that the sex challenge. I think there was more intention, and we're definitely exploring that. But it wasn't until we really got into the intimacy lifestyle and really began to go, okay, because if we're going to have sex twice a week, what's going to make it so it's pleasurable for you, for myself, that you orgasm, that I'm able to orgasm, what does this look like? And I think that's where our journey began. And we have seen, I think we have both would agree, like the health benefits, like not just from a physical, I would say from an emotional standpoint too, of just the exploring, the willingness to go to places that we had never we never had done before.
Absolutely. And, it is interesting because for those of you that don't know, Tony keeps referencing the sex challenge. We did not do our 60-day sex challenge until we were 11 years married.
Right.
It was 11 going on 12. And so if you're thinking you're behind, or if you're thinking what's going on, we had 11 years where this wasn't a real big part of our marriage, and we didn't have the vocabulary to talk about it. But when you start to learn the physical benefits, it goes beyond just strengthening your sexual intimacy pillar. It starts to ripple out into your entire marriage. And some of the physical benefits probably aren't going to surprise you guys. Right? There is stress reduction when you orgasm. And that's because the body starts to release endorphins and oxytocin and starts to reduce your cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which helps you to relax both mind and body. And so that is that sense of euphoria and calmness that comes, after a sexual encounter with orgasm with your spouse. Right? It's not just I've even come to the point, one of the other health benefits is that it can reduce pain. I remember years ago, we did an episode around sex and headaches, right? And I can't remember the exact title, but it was basically
yeah, we had something about...
Because I had a headache and we ended up having sex, and the orgasm, that release of endorphins had the analgesic quality of reducing the pain from my headache. So I'm we need to stop using headache as an excuse and actually use headache as a reason. Now, those of you that are migraine sufferers, I know you can barely move. I'm not talking about the migraine headaches, but thinking through when there is pain and orgasm, that those release of the endorphins can actually reduce pain.
That's episode 596. I'll put it here in the episode notes. Headache before orgasm.
Oh, there we go. Talking about those orgasms again. Mm-hmm. Another physical benefit is helping you sleep. Because again, when you orgasm, dopamine, oxytocin, and other endorphins does start to create this, internal cocktail that will help you sleep. It's why, and I think this is actually probably a bigger health benefit I've seen. It seems like just anecdotally from clients talking to me about their own marriages and even in our marriage. I do think the better sleep is probably a stronger physical benefit for men. In our marriage, personally, I am not inclined to just be okay, I'm ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It would be interesting to hear how that works for other couples in their marriage, because I feel for myself, I'm release. It's let's clean up, and I'm going to go read a couple of pages, and I am done.
He's done.
Where Elisa, I'm looking at her, and she's just just doing her thing. And this has been for years. This isn't perimenopause, menopausal, anything of that nature. It's I'm great. So it would be interesting to hear that. And obviously, different makeups, mm-hmm. different individuals. I mean, we all have, different ways of addressing sleep as it is. So I'm wondering about that one for sure. And again, when you hear these two, you may be well, that's not me, but that is me. It's not an all or nothing. Let me just say that with these health benefits of an orgasm. It's not well, I have all of them, so I'm good, or I have none of them, I'm bad. No, you may have some of them. You may not have one or two of them or three of them. These are just the health benefits of an orgasm, and some we have experienced. And Elisa even said it, that natural pain relief. Mm-hmm. And I remember even for myself sometimes just being tense. And, mm-hmm. and it talks about the stress. We talked about the stress reduction, and I feel stress and pain can happen because your muscles get tense, and just the ability to be within foreplay, it heightens, and I could feel things just melting off. Mm-hmm. And it's wild, because then you have sex, you climax as a guy, and then literally 5-10 minutes later, I'm oh shoot, that hurts again. It's that didn't hurt when we were in foreplay,
right,
or being sexually intimate, but now all of a sudden it's oh shoot.
And it's back.
Right.
And it's back. One more physical benefit, and I saw this in a couple of articles and whatnot, is that because your heart beats stronger during intimate connection, your cardiovascular system is actually getting a workout, is the way that one article phrased it. And what that does is it actually improves circulation throughout your body. Mm-hmm. Found one study that on verywellhealth.com said that men who had partnered sex once a month had lower levels of C-reactive protein, an inflammatory marker linked to heart disease. The study also found that women having quality sex with a partner can lower blood pressure and lower the risk of heart disease. So again, circling back to that article that we got the email about, like, this is where you start to see the longevity, how it impacts your mortality. If your heart's getting a workout, if you've got lower blood pressure, lowering your risk of heart disease, those are all really good things.
And I'm going to just say one thing about this study. It says partnered sex. I would say that is with your spouse.
100%. I just have to use the language.
Yeah, that's it. That was in the article. I'm just saying this doesn't mean, well, it's not going well here, so I'm going to look for it somewhere else.
Correct.
Like, this is within your marriage. If you're struggling in your marriage, and I'm going to tell you this right now, Lisa has worked with many couples who have had cracks in their sexual intimacy pillar. And if that is you, and you have been frustrated, and the two of you are willing to go, you know what? It's time to make some changes. It's time to see what's going on, address the emotional intimacy that maybe there are cracks there for us to be able to have that sexual intimacy, for us to enjoy orgasm and the health benefits of it. I would highly, highly, highly encourage you that you apply for coaching with Elisa. There's no obligation, but get started. Do something, because sexual intimacy and the act of sex with your spouse, there's many more benefits than these health benefits that are gonna just ripple throughout your marriage. So go to oneextraordinarymarriage.com/coaching, apply. There's no obligation, but move, be intentional about something and take action around it.
So we've hit on those physical benefits. We need to talk about the emotional, mental benefits, and we're going to do that after this break. We're in our early 50s and have definitely noticed a change in our metabolism. Things are slowing down and we're not able to manage our weight as easily. Our sleep is being impacted and our energy levels have been all over the place. We're so excited to have found a valuable tool that gives us insights to create a healthy metabolism for our bodies. It's called Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath, and on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management. I love that it's easy. I simply breathe into my Lumen device. Once my breath has been analyzed, I receive updated nutrition information to help me hit my goals. It's literally like having a coach walk alongside me to keep me motivated and encouraged throughout the day. The warmer months are coming. Spring back into your health and fitness and go to lumen.me/OEM to get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/OEM for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. These days, it feels like the world and our lives are moving at hyperspeed. And sometimes being in the car can feel like one more place where you're rushing. The all-new Nissan Murano is an unapologetic refuge amidst the daily hustle and bustle. A place where you can take a beat to catch your breath and re-energize. Some of my favorite features are the massaging leather-appointed seats to help melt away the tension of a busy day, and the expansive panoramic moonroof that adds tons of natural light to the roomy cabin. Massage and moonroof, sign me up. Plus, the Bose premium sound system will help you escape into your favorite music. We've owned many Nissans over the years, and we love it when we fly into a new city for a speaking event and find that our rental car is going to be the Nissan Murano. We know we're going to have a great ride, and the car is going to be a place where we can chill and relax. Nissan's history has been one of innovation without reservation and a willingness to do what others don't dare to do. It's your turn to see what it's all about. To check out the all-new Nissan Murano, visit your local Nissan dealer or visit nissanusa.com.
Panoramic moonroof, Bose premium sound system, massaging leather-appointed seats are optional features.
We're back, and we've been talking about the health benefits of orgasms, right? And we've talked about, so many of those physical benefits. But now let's talk about the emotional health benefits. And I think this is really important because, again, we can get so caught up in, this is just like, it's good for the body. It's good for the body. But when you get into this place of also recognizing that there are emotional benefits in how the two of you interact, what it makes you feel like, and that type of thing, orgasms can enhance your mood. I keep using the phrases, or the words endorphins and oxytocin. Why? Because they don't just impact you physically, they impact you mentally. They are circulating in your body. They're moving around after climax, and you can stay in that feeling of euphoria or contentment or connection, whatever word you might choose. And with regular orgasm, that just kind of becomes sort of like like the undercurrent, but it's a positive undercurrent, not a negative one. Right? Again, how are we improving the neuro aspect of those neuromuscular tensions? Orgasms can also help to reduce anxiety because we are living in a very fast-paced world. I can't tell you, like even last night, as we're recording this, just last night, I had done a session in Menopause Shouldn't Suck. And one of the gals threw out this phrase that I'm going to do a deep dive in because she had come across the phrase cortisol poisoning.
Oh, okay.
In our fast-paced world, we're constantly living in fight or flight. What is happening to our cortisol levels? And I think about that, when we're talking about something like orgasm, when those endorphins, when that oxytocin is flowing through your body, and it helps to reduce the cortisol and increase our levels of oxytocin, can we get into a place where, we do feel more connected and the anxiety goes down? There are a lot of people, and I will tell you, if you or your spouse is going through the menopause journey, they may be experiencing, or you may be experiencing anxiety for the first time. I have, and so knowing that having an orgasm can help to do, I'm like, all right, well, that's a vote for an orgasm. It's a lot healthier than most medications out there, and it's free. I just, Tony, we need an orgasm. Like that's pretty much, what it takes there. The other thing too, with enhancing emotions and mood and whatnot, is that as you start to develop not just the vocabulary and the language around discussing your sexual intimacy and discussing orgasms, but as the two of you learn, just like Tony and I did starting in year 11, going into year 12, like how do we get consistent on our orgasms? You start to develop this confidence that goes with it, not just in knowing how your body works, but in knowing how your spouse's body works. And are there different touches and, sweet nothings and different ways to apply lube or massage or whatever that helps the two of you get into that place of heightened sexual arousal that leads to orgasm? That confidence, like that's a mood booster. But here's the thing. If you're only having sex like once every couple of months, you're not going to feel very confident about it. I'm just going to straight up, like I can't be any more direct or blunt. And maybe some of you feel like that's too direct, but it's true. If you're not engaging in sexual intimacy regularly, your confidence will wane over time.
And you need to break through that. Too often, Elise and I have heard over the years, couples who life happens, we've been there, believe me, we understand it, where two healthy adults who are married together, who have been able to have sex because they have children, but have come to a point where now it's like life is happening and they haven't. And what has happened is months and months have gone by where sex hasn't happened. And so it can feel a little awkward trying to get back together. Again, don't keep pushing away. Don't keep going, oh, maybe next week. Like you guys got to get into a place and with a marriage coach, a counselor, a therapist, whatever you need to do to break through that so you can have the benefits of an orgasm. Don't sit there and listen and go, oh, well, that's you guys and that's not us. Because you can experience this. And yet you got to get over the hurdles that are going on in your mind and your body. And for both of you to connect again. Because this is a very important pillar. I'm not going to, like, we've talked about sex from day one.
Literally, episode 1, if you have not listened to it, is 60 Days of Sex.
And we're going to continue to talk about it to you because it is important. And it is very easy. Believe me, Elisa and I can walk into the same place as you guys do at times. Too much is going on. I'm too tired. This is happening. I'm stressed out. Life is happening. And yet, you're missing out. Not just in that physical intimacy, that connection of your bodies and that sexual intimacy, but also other benefits to you that will last you a lifetime, the longevity of life. And it's amazing because we were on our ship and on our cruise and we had couples there married 30, 35, 45, 50 years. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, holy cow.
I want to be you when I grow up is kind of what my thought was.
Yes. And they're telling me like, oh, we thought we were going to be late for the session because we were having daytime sex. And I'm like, right on. Because I want to be you. So don't let yourself be stopped by this. Apply for coaching with Elisa if you need to get that breakthrough. Do it.
One of the last emotional mental health benefits is that, again, here's that word, it's coming out, oxytocin. When that is released in orgasm, a little backstory on oxytocin. Oxytocin is the same hormone that helps mothers connect with their babies. It is a connection hormone, and it fosters relational bonds. When you orgasm, oxytocin is also released. You are with your spouse. It forges a bond between the two of you. It is that connection. It is that attachment, that closeness. And I get it. I know. I mean, this show is heard all over the world, literally. And we know that there are folks listening to this right now that have, extraordinary sexual intimacy, and folks that are, this is a really hard episode because that's not where you're at. And then we have people all in the middle. If you can envision it, you're listening to the One Extraordinary Marriage show. If this is an area, and again, Tony has said, if this is an area where it's not working right now in your marriage, where sexual intimacy isn't strong, you have to start somewhere. And it might just be practicing having a conversation to discuss desires, or scheduling intimacy so that you know it's going to happen and it becomes a little more regular, or focusing just on the pleasure. Let's learn how our bodies are working at this point in time in our married life, right? It's not just saying, well, that won't ever be us. It's saying, how can this be us? Because if there's one thing I saw on the cruise, and yes, we are going to be talking about those couples from the cruise for a good long time, because I think in a lot of ways they schooled us in a lot of different aspects. But what I saw in that room with those couples that were there is that extraordinary marriages don't just happen, right? They're created intentionally, one decision at a time. And the one decision that you might be stepping into this week is going, okay, how do we now that we have a better understanding of the health benefits of an orgasm, right? That it's not, we're not looking at orgasm just as, a quick couple of minutes for the husband, just like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But instead going, wait a minute, if we get good at this, there are tremendous benefits for both of us, both husband and wife. So what would happen if we got intentional and started learning how to get good at this for our marriage, for our bonding, for heart health and longevity, but not just physical longevity, but relational longevity? Because I think the article that started this and was the catalyst for the show, where the subject line said, and let me just get it here, the subject line was health benefits of an orgasm. I'd rewrite that and say the marriage health benefits of an orgasm. Because I do believe, and we've lived it in our own lives and seen so many others, that there are some tremendous marriage health benefits when the two of you incorporate and get really good at together what orgasm looks like for your marriage.
Yeah. As you begin and look at this week ahead, think about this. Think about yourself, each other, and how are you benefiting from being sexually intimate and orgasm? And what does that look like for you? Talk about it. It brings you closer together to know the benefits that you are experiencing. Again, none are good, bad. Like me falling asleep is good for me. Elisa has different benefits. We both benefit from having them, just differently. So take time this week. 1, go have sex with your spouse. Go enjoy it.
It's a good place to start.
Have an orgasm and express to one another what are the benefits you get and enjoy because you are sexually intimate with one another. You guys have yourselves a fantastic week. We'll catch you next week. Love you guys. Thank you for listening to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show. If you love this podcast, please leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Your review helps others find the show and know that it's the right fit for them and their marriage.